How are we doing, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and this is an enhancement guide, and it's going to be how I am going to make my 20, 30 and 50 stacks going into the future, prepping myself for those big enhancements, whether they be tech or pen boss gears. I will be going through in a future video different ways you can make 100 stacks, and I'm also going to be going into another future video on how to upgrade and how I upgrade my boss items to be as efficient as possible and save as much silver as possible. But before we get to those videos, this is my foundation that I'll be starting with, is making sure I've got a nice supply of 20, 30s and 50s. So going into the big enhancements, I can save a lot of time and a lot of silver, because this is very, very efficient in terms of creating these stacks. Now guys, this guide is going to give you some general methods on how to make 20, 30 and 50 stacks. Now remember, these are just general methods. These are not rules set in stone. And even though this can be one of the more efficient ways of doing it, RNG is still RNG. You're going to have good waves of RNG and bad waves of RNG. And depending on which side of the RNG you land on, this could change the way you'd like to use your resources to then adjust to the RNG to make it again as efficient for you as possible. If this is going over your head a little bit because you are newer to the enhancement system, don't worry about it. I will be going over some examples of this towards the end of the video. Now let's talk about preparation. You cannot be as efficient as possible if you do not prepare. Now, as you can see over here, I have already crafted 100 gruntle helmets and sent them to my Valencia storage. It is important to note you don't have to craft your own gruntle helmets for this, but if you choose not to do that, you are going to have to spend silver to buy base gruntle helmets off the central market, and you will be relying on the supply of gruntle helmets available to you. And I will leave a link at the bottom of this video. If you don't know how to craft your gruntle, there will be a guide telling you guys what you need to do and what steps you need to take to be able to start doing that for yourselves. So not only do I have 100 gruntle helmets in my transport, but I have also got over 100 gruntle helmets in my Altanovia storage already made, and my worker is still crafting more gruntle helmets. And as some of you have probably already guessed, we will be using gruntle helmets to make our larger stacks, the 30s, 50s and onwards. Like I said, I'll be touching on 100 plus stacks in a later video, but plus 15 gruntle helmets are a lot cheaper than Pry gruntle helmets on the central market. It can sometimes be annoying to get these to go to Pry, but if you do it efficiently and you have enough liquid silver available, you can even use these to pump some 20 stacks as they're failing to go Pry, which you then can reuse later on. Now in terms of other preparations, I have 500 weapon stones, 500 armor stones, 200 concentrated armor stones, and I want to have 6 reblath and 6 militia weapons. As you can see, I am going to be also upgrading these militia weapons to plus 14 to be able to use for stacking. And you guys are going to get an idea of how many materials it's going to cost to make the number of stacks that you want to make by just watching the progression of this video as it unfolds. So now let's get into the actual enhancement itself. So we've got a couple first goals that we're going to have to push towards. One being to get these gruntle helmets to Pry, another one being to get these militia swords to plus 14. And what we can do during these goals as well is book up any 20 stacks that we get along the way. So let's get started. We are going to upgrade our lowest level militia sword first, and you can see how I use my stacks to try and be as efficient as possible. Well, we one tap that. So now this is still our lowest at plus 10. We're going to pop it. So we went plus 11 here. So I'm going to go to this other plus 10. Now we're going to again just keep popping. Again, this one went plus 11, so everything's plus 11 now. So we're just going to continue on this longsword, building our stacks. And we will stop if it gets a little bit too high. So I got a plus 11 longsword with a plus 13 stack. I am now going to stop tapping, and I'm going to go to one of my reblath items. You can also do another plus 14 longsword if you like, but I'm going to push this to a 16 stack from here. I'm going to grab one of these gruntle helmets and I'm going to tap it twice. 1, 2. So it went Pry, fantastic. If it didn't go Pry and we got a 20 stack, you then have a couple of options. I'd personally just book the 20 stacks. If you're trying to save silver, you can put everything storage, change characters and start on a fresh character and save that 20 stack for later. But I wouldn't be recommending that this early stage in the game because we still have a lot of gruntle helmets to upgrade. So we're going to go back to our plus 11 longsword and tap away. It went plus 12, so we're going to go to our next plus 11 longsword, tap this away, Now that went plus 12. This longsword is almost out of durability, so we're going to have to repair it. Okay, so it's fully repaired. We're going to continue stacking on this plus 11. It went plus 12, so now we're going to start tapping this plus 12. Okay, so we've got a 13 stack. I'm going to stop again at this 13 stack, grab one of my plus 14 and try and push this to 16. So we're in plus 15, that's unfortunate. Those stones got wasted. We're going to go back and start tapping plus 12 again. Plus 13, that was a good one tap, so we're going to go to another plus 12. Plus 13, again, that was really good. So this was our durability, so we need to repair again. Okay, so we're back on the plus 12 and we're going to start tapping. So we're going to stop at 11 there and we're going to go to the 13 stack. I went plus 14, so we're going to go back to the 12 stack. I'll probably stop on 10 stacks this time and not push it to 11 if we get that far. We need to repair again though. Alright, so we've got a 10 stack. I'm going to stop on the 10 stack. I'm going to tap it 3 times on the 12. I'm going to tap it once on the plus 13 and I went plus 14 there. So now we've got 2 plus 14s. Again, we're going to go up to a 10 stack for this plus 12. Okay, we're going to stop at the 10 stack and then we're going to go to our reblaff. This is technically our reblaff now. I'm just going to call any plus 14 longsword or gloves just reblaff from here on in. But we're going to push this to 16 stacks. There we go. And now we're going to tap another Grunner helmet twice. So we failed 2 times there. So now we're going to go book this stack. So I'm just going to buy 520 books for now because we're probably going to need to do this a couple of times. Alright, now to use the book, I just click on it in my inventory. It opens my Black Spirit and takes me to the correct page. You have to click on the book again and then go to the left screen, click skip animation, press Y. And now we've got a 20 book. So if I go to my inventory, you can see we've got an advice of Valks 20. So that's how you book your stacks. And now we're going to continue smashing this plus 12. We're going to be stopping at 10 stacks. And we're going to go continue on to our reblaff. Unfortunately, that's a waste of stones. And we're going to start again. Go to a 10 stack. Okay, so we've got our 10 stack. We're going to go back to our reblaff. So now, as you can see, I've got a couple of Pride Grunner helmets in my inventory. So I'm going to be slightly different this time in my methods on how I'm building my stacks. Normally, I'd go to 16 stack and tap it twice to get the 20 stack and book the 20 stack. Now I'm going to go to 17 stacks and tap a Grunner helmet twice. And it went pry. If it would have failed, we would have been on a 21 stack. I would have then used that 21 stack to tap a Pride Grunner helmet 3 times. And if it would have failed 3 times, I would have had a 30 stack, which you can then book or switch characters. Or the Grunner helmet would have succeeded going duo, which would have consumed your stack, giving you a duo Grunner helmet, and you can start back on your longsword. So we've got another 10 stack. So we're using our reblaff. Unfortunately, went plus 15. So we're going to go back to the sword again. It went plus 13 that time. So now with the plus 13, we're going to go to 12 stacks. So we've got 12 stacks. Now we're going to go back to our reblaff. Try and push for 17 stacks this time. So it went 17. Now we're going to take a plus 15 Grunner helmet. And we one-tapped it to pry. So we're going to go back to making 12 stacks on the plus 13. It went plus 14. So now we are all at plus 14 gear. So we are now going to be pushing for 17 stacks to push these plus 15s to pry or to get a 21 stack. I'm going to put in a Grunner helmet. There we go. That one tap to pry as well. So we're doing pretty good on the Grunner helmet RNG at the minute. So we've got another 17 stack. And that one tap to pry as well. So So we've got another plus 17 stack. We're going to plug in a plus 15 Grunner helmet, tap it twice. So we've got the 21 stack this time. Now we're going to be plugging in a Pry Grunner helmet. We're going to tap to 30 at max, but it went duo, so that's really good. We're going to need these. We'll hold on to this duo and go back to making 17 stacks. Okay, we've got the 17, plug in the Grunner helmet, tap twice. We've got another 21 stack, so we're going to tap maximum 3 times on this Grunner helmet. And we got a 30 stack. That's really good. We need these, so that's one of our goals, is getting 30 stacks as well. So we're going to go buy some books for the 30 stacks and book this up. And since we're going to have to go buy the 30 stacks, I'm also going to be repairing all my weapons, all my gloves, and disenchanting all the reblaff and longswords to plus 14 as well. Okay, when you're at the church, be careful you don't accidentally click on Grunnel for disenchanting. You're gonna just be clicking the reblaff and the longswords. So take your time, make sure you don't click on the wrong one. We are gonna start clicking all our longswords and gloves right here at the church guy. We're not going anywhere yet. So we've got a 17 stack, plug in a plus 15, tap twice. So we failed. Now we're going to plug in a Pry and it goes to duo. So now we have 2 duo helmets. That's really, really good. We're going to go back to making 17 stacks. We've got a plus 17 again, plug in the plus 15 Grunner helmet. So we've got the 21 stack. We're going to stop. We're going to grab a Pry Grunner helmet, tap this a couple times. There we go. We've got a duo. So we've got 3 Grunner helmets that are duo. That's really, really good. Back to making the 17 stacks. So we've got the 17 stack again. We're going to plug in the Grunner helmet and 1 tap to pry. That's really good. Back to making 17 stacks. Another 17 stack, plug in a plus 15. So we tapped it twice. We've got a 21 stack. We're going to plug in the pry. And that goes duo. Now we're at 4 duo Grunner helmets. We're doing really good. All right, we've got a plus 17 stack. Again, we're gonna plug in another plus 15 Grunner helmet. We've got the 21 stack. We're gonna plug in another Pry. That one ran out of durability, so we're gonna go to a different Grunner helmet. 1 more tap on this. We got the 30 stack, but we came prepared and we came with some extra 30 books as well. So we're gonna click on our book and book your stack. If you don't want to spend silver on the books, that is completely fine. You'd have to switch characters. I like to be efficient as possible with my time. That's why I spend the extra silver to book my stacks. So we've got the 17 stack again. We're going to plug in another plus 15. 1 taps to pry. That's what we need. And back to making 17 stacks. All right, we got another duo. So we've got 5 duos. And now we're going to see if we can get ourselves a 50 stack. So we're going to go over here and grab one of the 30 stacks that we booked up. We're going to open the 30 stack and we're going to plug in these duos and start pushing for 50. So I went try on 2 taps there. This is going to be really important for you to use later on to push for your 100 plus stacks. So we're going to be holding on to this try. It's actually really good that it went. And we're going to go back and get 5 duo helmets again. So we've got a 17 stack, plug in a plus 15 helmet. We tap twice. So we're going to go to a Pry helmet now. And we get that to duo. So we got 4 Grunner helmets at duo. We're going to go back and see if we've got any durability left. We've got a little bit left on the Grunner gloves. We've got another 17 stack. We're going to plug in the Grunner helmet. 1 taps to pry. And now you can probably see why we're staying at the church guy. We're trying to be as efficient as possible. Use all the durability on our rebuff gloves as much as we can. And when we've got it all spent, then we're going to go back and repair everything. And as you can see, your Grunner RNG can be bad at sometimes. So that's why we stayed here. We really made our time as efficient as possible by staying at this priest to spend all the durability of our reblath. All right, now that everything's repaired, we go back to stack building. We've got a 17 stack, pop the plus 15 in, 2 taps, pop the pry in, 3 taps max. All right, we got another duo. So we are back at 5 duos. We're gonna go grab another 30 stack that we've already made. We're gonna pop in these 5 duos and see if we can get a 50 stack. Last one, we really want this to fail. Unfortunately, went to try. That is pretty unfortunate, but it's okay. We need these Tri-Grunner helmets later, so we're gonna keep on making our 17 stacks. Plug in the plus 15, tap twice, get the 21, tap the Tri-Grunner helmet in, 3 maximum taps. Okay, we got another 30 stack. We need these, so we're gonna book it up. We got another 17 stack, plug in a plus 15, 2 taps, plug in a pry, 3 taps max, and another 30 stack. We still need these, so that's pretty good. Got a 17 stack, 2 taps on a plus 15, get a 21 stack, 3 taps maximum on the pry. We got a duo, so we still need to make 4 more of these to pop the 30 stack and try to get the 50 again. We've got another 17 stack, Grunner helmet, 2 taps max. We've got the 21 stack, pop in the pry, 3 taps max, and we got another 30, so we're going to book this up. So we've got a 17 stack, we're going to plug in another plus 15, 2 taps max, get the 21, we're going to plug in a pry, 3 taps max, and we got the duo, so we're 2 out of 5 on duos now. Back to making plus 17 stacks. '17 stack, plug in a plus 15, 2 taps, goes pry. Guys, you've seen a number of examples of how I make my 17 stacks, so I'm just going to skip that little part of the reblath stack building from here on out to save a little bit of time on the video. 17 stack, plug in a plus 15, tap twice. Plug in a pry, 3 taps max. Duo, that's really good. We got 3 out of the 5 that we want. Back to making 17 stacks. We got a 17 stack, plug in a plus 15, tap twice. There we go. Plug in a pry, 3 taps max. And we got another 30 stack, so we're going to book this up. We got another 17 stack, plug in a plus 15, tap twice. We got the 21, plug in a pry, tap maximum 3 times. And there we go, we got another duo. So we're 4 out of 5. We need 1 more duo to try and get that 50 stack. Got another 17 stack, plug in a plus 15, tap twice. We got the pry, back to making 17 stacks. We've got the 17 stack, plug in a Grunner helmet, tap twice. And we just needed 1 tap for pry, so we're back to making 17 stacks. 17 stack, plug in a plus 15, tap twice. 1 tap to pry, back to making 17s. And we are out of the 500 weapon stones, so I'm going to grab another 250 from my storage. Another 17 stack, tap twice on the plus 15 helmet. We got another pry. Another 17 stack, we're going to tap twice on this plus 15 helmet. And we got another pry. So I'm going to go repair all my Grunner helmets now because they're getting a little bit low on durability. I'm going to make sure everything here is at max durability and go cleanse all my gear, and then we're going to continue. So we've got a 17 stack, plug in a plus 15. Got it to pry, back to making 17 stacks. Another 17 stack, plug in our last plus 15 helmet, tap it twice. We got a 21, plug in a pry, got a duo, and now we have 5 duos. So we're going to go plug in a 30 stack, plug in the duos, and try and get a 50 stack. We got another try, it came early, so that's really good, and back to making 17 stacks. We got another 17 stack, plug in our last plus 15, tap twice, we get a 21, plug in the prize, 3 maximum taps, we get a 30, we're going to stack that up. We got a 17 stack, plug in the plus 15, tap twice, 21 stack, plug in the pry, maximum 3 taps, and book up the 30 stack. Got a 17 stack, plug in the plus 15, tap twice, That's our last one. It's got Pry, and now we have no more plus 15 Grunner helmets. So from here on in, we're going to be making 21 stacks with our Reblaf. If we're having a lot of troubles trying to push to 21, we can stop at 18 and then tap 4 times on the Pry Grunner helmet to get to the 30 stack where we're going to stop, or to get the duo. So we've got the 21 stack, we're going to plug in the Pry, tap 3 times maximum, we got the duo. So my Reblaf RNG isn't being too good to me, so I'm going to start at an 18 stack now and just start tapping the Grunner 18 stacks. And we've got another 30 stacks, so we're going to book this up. So we've got the 18 stack. Like I said, I'm not having good RNG with my Reblaf, so I'm going to start tapping for duo on 18. And we got the duo there. So now we got another 5 duos. So we're going to pop a 30 stack and we're going to try and get a 50 stack. And we got another try there. So we're not having a lot of luck making 50 stacks in this video, but you guys should have the idea of what you need to do. But we are having a lot of good luck getting a lot of Try Grunner. Now this is going to be really important later on, and I'll get much more in depth in my guides on how to upgrade boss gear and my guides how to make 100 stacks. The general gist of it will be to use the Try Grunner helmets, pop them in a 50 stack, fail 4 of them to push it to a 70 stack, put 10 Valks in it to get an 80 stack, and then attempt to get Tet on boss gear up to 110 stacks and you'll stop. The other method of going around it is, again, use the Try Grunner to push to a 70 stack, and if you just want to get a cheap 100 stack, you would then pop in Tet Grunner helmets after that and fail the 70 up to 100, and then you put in 10 Valks and you get a 110 stack. So that should give you an idea what the future videos are going to include, but I'll go more in depth in the step-by-step like I've done here in those videos already. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's been a slightly long one. I do apologize for the length. It did take me about 3 hours to get the enhancing footage all together and prep everything. So hopefully you guys appreciate that, and it's going to help you guys save some silver and be more efficient and get your foundation stacks built so you can get easier Tet attempts on your boss gear and help you save silver in the long run. So guys, now we are on to the silver breakdown of this specific enhancement session that I've cut down for the YouTube video. Now, to calculate the silver breakdown, I am using current market values of all the items that we used, and the current date is the 22nd of April 2020. So if you're watching this video in the future, please note that these prices can fluctuate greatly. But as of today, the price of 16 plus 15 Grunner helmets cost me 128 million to buy off the central market. We ended up using 448 out of the 500 armor stones, and that would have cost us 88 mil. We ended up using 638 weapon stones, which would have cost us 115 mil. We used 126 concentrated armor stones, which cost us roughly 140 mil. The price of concentrated armor stones as of right now is a lot lower than its true price. Its true price fluctuates around the 2 million bracket. So in the future, you can see the cost here increase from 140 million all the way up to 280 million. So keep this price in mind. This one can fluctuate greatly. And the complete silver cost of buying all the books that we use to book up our stacks, going to the priest, disenchanting our gear, and buying all the Reblaf and long swords to repair our items cost us 29 million. Now there is one item I did not include in this cost breakdown, and that's the price of base Grunner helmets. And we ended up using 75 of those, so if you don't have your own Grunner crafting station, then the total cost is going to increase by 75 multiplied by the price of the base Grunner helmet. So keep that in mind. So the total of all these items together without the price of the base Grunner helmet is 500 million. So as you can see, it's quite a large silver sink to be able to do what I just did. So guys, let's look at our return on investment now. We started with 16 plus 15 Grunner helmets. We ended up having 9 pries, 3 duos, and 4 tries out of that. So if we just look at our return on investment just for the Gruntle only, the total market value of all these Gruntle helmets is 465 mil, and you can see the breakdown that I've made over here of each individual one. So our cost was 500 mil, but the return on the helmets was only 465 mil. So we're not making profit in terms of enhancing Gruntle helmets. If we did want to make a profit, we could. We'd have to push for more tries. Our costs will go up, but as you can see, the bulk of the money is from the Gruntle helmets themselves. So if we were to extend the enhancement sessions for longer, we could definitely come back with some profit. But this is not about making profit. I'm just giving you guys some perspective on silver spend and return on investment. We also ended this session with 5 30 stacks. Now, I've very much lowballed the price of a 30 stack to 15 mil. It's definitely worth more than 15 mil. But with this lowball number, we got 5 of those, so that's 75 mil. And I've lowballed a 20 stack to be worth 5 mil. It's definitely worth more than that. But if you were to add the stacks into our return on investment, we would look at our total return being 545 mil, which is ahead of where we started, which is good because, again, we want to be in the green. We don't want to be losing money. We don't want to be inefficient. And really, we're not looking to make money at this stage. We are right now building foundations. We are building 30 stacks. We will be building 50 stacks. The session would obviously have to be longer to get the 50 stack, which we didn't get in the end, but we could easily make that 50 stack if we spent more time doing it, and we would have made more 30 stacks. So our numbers would have been inflated greatly if we spent more time on it. Now, the reason we're doing these 30 stacks and 50 stacks is to save clicks on boss gear. This is really, really important because every time you click a boss gear, it's costing you 15 million silver. So even though you might not see the return on investment right now with where we are in this session, it's definitely going to come back in the future and hopefully save you tons and tons of silver, because the higher you push your stacks, technically it should be the less amount of times you click on your boss gear. But like I said, RNG is RNG. Whenever you go into enhancing, you are putting your silver at risk for a reward. The reward being getting your TET/pen gear cheaper than buying it off the central market. The risk being you get very bad RNG, you end up spending a lot more silver than you would for straight up buying your items from the central market. Now, currently with the current central market prices, I can tell you more often than not, you can save yourself some money enhancing TET if you do it smart and you don't get bad RNG. But with the current price of pens, 99% of the time, it's going to be cheaper to buy pens off the central market than making your own. So please keep that in mind. However, obviously the final caveat being not many pens get sold on the central market. So if you do want it faster, it could technically be faster to spend more silver to enhance it yourself, or you could spend the time grinding the silver and wait for someone to sell you the item. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I've gone in depth as I can and tried to keep it as simple as possible so as many people out there can understand the risks and rewards of enhancing. If you do it right, you're increasing your chances of getting the reward and lowering your risk. But anyway, get out there, start enhancing. Hopefully you have some good RNG, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.